Hi, it's Maureen Muldoon, and we are on lesson 90, which is a review. And sorry, I just feel suddenly very hot in here. I'm in my old office. Remember this old office? I'm in my old office again, and got a little angel over here, a little angel, and a little bell. School time. We're on lesson 90. With the Course in Miracles, the workbook lessons. And yes, it's taken me a long time to complete this series, and I want to feel bad about that, but that's my ego. And, the Holy Spirit's like, it takes as long as it's supposed to take. It's not like I'm not doing the lessons, because I teach them every day on a couple of different calls. I didn't think that you could get through the lessons of A Course in Miracles in 1 year. I don't know why I didn't think that. It's kind of silly because they were designed to get through in a year, so why would I doubt that? I don't know. Good question. Anyhow, I figured it took them 7 years to channel it, so I would give myself 7 years. Apparently, I've given myself 70 years to record these lessons. But the truth is, you can get through the lessons in a year, and when you do them consistently, you will see miracles, and you will have peace and an unfurrowed brow and a lighthearted step. And gosh, don't you deserve that? So that's my mad ramble. We're here at lesson 90. And, if you like these lessons, go ahead and subscribe, give us a little like, and let's proceed with the lesson. So, lesson 90. For this review, we will use these ideas. A lesson 79 review. Let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. Let me realize today that the problem is always some form of a grievance that I would cherish. Also, let me also understand that the solution is always a miracle with which I let the grievance be replaced. Today I would remember the simplicity of salvation by reinforcing the lesson that there is one problem and one solution. The problem is a grievance, the solution is a miracle. So the problem is a grievance. Let's just look at that. What is a grievance? A grievance is when we're like, no, forget about it. When we say no, when we say that's not okay, when we pass judgment on something. And a miracle is when we look up and we go, forget it. Like, don't get hung up on that. Like, it's not even that important. Like, a grievance will pull our focus to the little thorns on the rose bushes, and a miracle will lift our chin and go, look at all the roses. Literally overlook it. This grievance, no matter how engraved it is, no matter how well you have built this crucifixion, no matter how many years you have held this grievance, it means nothing. I know that sounds crazy, but it means nothing. And you, my dear, my friend, my love, you are the person that is going to be able to let that go for all of us. You are the one to do that. So don't shirk these responsibilities, because without you, the face of God is incomplete. And that's the truth and the whole truth. So it goes on to say, and I invite the solution to come through me. I invite the solution to come through my forgiveness of the grievance and my welcoming of the miracle that takes its place. So right there, it's not saying you got to forgive. It's just saying let it come through you. Let it be done unto you. Let it be done through you. All it takes is a little willingness to say, I don't want to forgive this guy. I want to hang this guy up. I want him to be strung out. I want to see his persecution. Then just say, you know what? I changed my mind. I think I'm the person to forgive this. I think I'm the one who is in this moment and brought to this classroom for a reason. And I must be the one who is able to forgive this and overlook it and move on. For all of us. It says special application of this idea must be in these forms, or rather might be in these forms. This presents a problem to me which I would have resolved. This presents a problem to me, yes, and don't get hung up on the problem, because then we're saying which I would have resolved. I'm looking for a resolution. I'm not looking for a crucifixion, I'm looking for a resolution. Okay? The next part, the next helpful thought is the miracle behind this grievance will resolve it for me. So the miracle, I'm cloaking this miracle in my grievance, but there is a solution behind this grievance if I'm willing to let this grievance go. And what is the miracle? The miracle is love. So let me see love instead of this. And the next suggestion is the answer to this problem is the miracle that it conceals. So what does that tell you? What it tells me is that the miracle that it conceals is the constant. Like, that's the sun, that's the love, that's the beauty. This problem is the temporary cloud that crosses the sun. And you and I do not have time to get hung up on the clouds. Clouds will come and go. But let's stay consistent with what is consistent, which is the light and love of God. That's what I'd say about that. The next one is, let me recognize my problems have been solved. I seem to have problems only because I'm misusing time. I believe that the problem comes first and time must eclipse before it can be worked out. I do not see the problem and the answer as simultaneous in their occurrence. That is because I do not yet realize that God has placed the answer together with the problem, so they cannot be separated by time. The Holy Spirit will teach me this if I will let Him, and I will understand that it is impossible that I could have a problem which has not been solved already. Time warp, that's kind of kooky, but it's basically saying there is no problem, that we don't have to wait, and we don't have to, navigate, and we don't have to negotiate. We could have the solution right here and right now. What's the solution? The solution is changing our mind about the problem. My dear, beautiful, lovely, blessed, divine friend Joe Wolf, if you know Joe Wolf, he used to say, the only forgiveness that we have to do is forgive ourselves for believing something went wrong. So you and I have believed that something went wrong, and we've held this grievance against this person, place, or thing, and we've made it so important that we have built altars to it, and we've genuflected at it, and we've devoted hours of our time, our life, days, weeks, months, years, dedicated in genuflection to this, thing that we don't even want. And so let it be done unto you. Let this be the last time that you persecute yourself with your own thoughts about the situation. And these are some helpful suggestions that might help you do that. It says, these forms of the idea will be useful for a specific application. I need not wait for this to be resolved. So you're literally saying to the Holy Spirit, I want it now. Like, I'm not going to spend another day in pain, in separation, in illusion, in grievance. I want it now. I want it more than anything else in the world. I want it more than persecution. I want this resolution more than persecution. I want this resurrection more than persecution and crucifixion. I want to rise from this. I want to rise with the prize. I demand it, and I'm willing to do it. So, that's what I would say. I'd say, like, if you got a situation on your hands that is looking like a crucifixion, then you're probably just the one to rise from it. And you don't just rise for yourself, but you rise for all of us. And without you doing that, there remains a blank space in the face of God, as if God was a great mosaic and you're just not there as long as you're dabbling in clouds. The other good suggestion to probably unravel some of these riddles is the answer to this problem is already given to me if I will accept it. So, 12-step says acceptance is the answer to all of our problems. When I think that there's a problem out there, of some person, place, or thing that needs to change, is actually just my attitude about these people, places, or things that need to be changed. So, you see when we move towards the top of the mountain, a lot of these different philosophies and theologies begin to weave themselves together and come to the same, truth. Truth is true, is true, is true. You can quote me on that. Well, we've stopped. Give me a little like for that one. Okay. The final little thought for the day is time cannot separate this problem from its solution. So God is so generous that as soon as we said there's a problem, God said there's a solution. And it wasn't like you gotta do a 50 billion Hail Marys. It wasn't, you gotta earn this. It wasn't, you gotta, bathe yourself in blessed waters. It wasn't anything. It was just, I got your solution. I got a problem, God. I got your solution. How do we get that solution from God? Be still. That's it. Be still and listen up. Listen in, tune in, and listen up. When you go within, you never go without. So that's the good news today. That's the very good news. So thank you for taking the time to do your spiritual practice with me. Everything that you do for yourself, your own spirit and soul, you do for everyone. And everything that I do for my own spirit and soul affects everyone. So together, you and I, and anyone else who's invested in, spiritual evolution, can begin to weave a new tapestry of love. And I think that's pretty audacious. And I think it's worth our time. God bless. Have a nice day.